Okay, so now you've got your web address, you need to actually get it live on the internet. And for that, you need what's called web hosting, which basically means you're at the simplest level, you're taking some space, you're renting some space on a web server, a computer connected to the internet 24 hours a day. And you could potentially do this from home. If you really wanted to dive into that, you could set up a web server. You could host your website at home, but obviously it's technically complicated and there's security considerations. For example, someone trying to hack into your website, and that means they're actually hacking into your home computer. So it's a lot easier to use web hosting. And okay, I've got the web address pair.com here. There's thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of web host companies, businesses that offer web hosting. This is just one. I just happen to have used them. I use them now, and I've used them for about 20 years, in fact, for many different websites over the years. And I've stuck with them for 20 odd years or so, 15, 20 years. I've lost track actually. So yeah, I've been happy with them, and they've always been responsive and offer a good service and so on. And they're quite inexpensive to get started with. $6 a month at the moment. Anyway, so basically you need your name, your web address, which you may have purchased now, and you need web hosting, and you point your name at your web hosting, and that makes your your website live on the internet. So again, web hosting is basically renting some space on a computer that's connected to the internet 24 hours a day. That way, when people go to your website address, they're visiting that computer. So they type in your website address, and they're taken automatically to the computer where you've uploaded your website. So that's called a web server, and you're renting space on that server, and that's called web hosting. So basically, any number of web hosts, there's plenty of options to choose from. This is just one, and you sign up, and you're renting space on their computers, and they look after all the technical aspects of running web servers, and then you just have to point your address at this web hosting, which we'll do in the next video, and then upload your website to the web host, which we'll do in a later video. So that's a very brief introduction to web hosting if you weren't familiar with what it is. Any number of choices to choose between. Especially if your website isn't receiving much traffic, you really don't have to pay much. $6 a month or even less is perfect for a site that's new or hardly getting any visitors. You only really need to pay more once your site really gets popular. So you can get started very inexpensively with your website, and as it grows, you can potentially spend more if necessary, so that it continues to work as it should.